Come back. We still carry on with our discussion here on Daybreak. It's all about phone addiction, technology addiction. But right now I want to talk about solutions. Before we get to that, however, Philip Ogola wanted to weigh in a little bit on a question that I asked earlier. What comes first? Is it the addiction and then the social and then the mental issues, or vice versa?
It's actually both.
Is that okay?
One, if you're going through probably depression or a mental illness, going online has so many triggers. So you must learn how, because let's say you're going through trauma. When you go online, you find someone has posted a photo of a graphic, someone who's dead, you know, bloody photo, or a raped victim. Those will give you triggers. If you're someone who has gone through rape, and then someone posts a victim who has been raped, it will give you triggers. Or someone who character assassinates you, abuse you. There's a lot of cyberbullying online.
Yeah.
So when you're actually going through depression, the phone is not the place to be. Get offline. Like for me, I'm battling depression, I'm battling PTSD. And I've learned the art of balancing, where I just get offline. Because there's so much toxic stuff online. So you'll find people who are addicted to phone. They'll find pleasure in character assassinating you, because it gives them validation.
Wait, so how do you handle it? Bearing in mind, I don't get to choose what's on my feed. I don't know when the trolls are on and when they're off.
No, it's
and Instagram still...
You choose.
You can choose.
You choose.
No.
You can choose?
Because you can block. You can block certain keywords, but you'll still see it. No, they won't stream into your feed. Like for me, during 2017, the election time, I blocked, certain political feeds. So they were not coming into my timeline.
Oh, so you preempted it. You didn't wait until...
Like for me, I see what I want to see. Like I have comedians, there are guys who actually have on my timeline. I just watch, I laugh, and that's it. I don't dive in that. So it goes back to saying that the addiction has come in because people find gratification and validation in actually bullying others. Where I'll feel like I can reach Wahiga Maura and I can abuse you, and then when you respond, I'm like, yes, I've got you. So it now goes back to actually now where social media is actually flaring up depression. Because people are actually going through mental issues. People are going through underlying issues, families which are broken. So when you go online, you find people who are toxic. It's not because they actually get gratification to actually bullying someone. So I'll say that social media has become a big problem right now. It's the biggest enabler to mental illness.
Biggest enabler to mental illness. And of course, we're not just talking about social media. The people who are addicted to the TV. TV on 24/7, radio on the whole day, into the night. You're on your bike.
Can I show you
radio still on as well. But Janet, coming to you, likes, gratification that you get from them, and Yasmin alluded to this a little bit earlier. How do I replace that with something healthy? How can I get the same thrill from healthy things, hanging out with my friends, talking to my family, whatever it is?
You know what came to my mind, which is so random, is like, for example, there's water parks. Go there and...
Where?
What? I know there's one in Mombasa, because that's where I grew up. But I think the point I'm making is, because it's endorphins, and I don't know whether endorphins and adrenaline go hand in hand. Bungee jump if you must. I don't know. Find extreme sports.
Give me cheap ways.
Not bungee jump. Honestly, Wahiga, it's not easy, and I think a lot of it is up to you as a person. Sometimes what I would tend to do is look at options. I know it means going back online, but it's looking for options online to go offline. Maybe that's one way of doing it. But I think sometimes if you do get involved in something that moves your body, if it's an exercise, if it's a jog, if it's a workout, jogging is cheap, it's free. You can just jog around your neighborhood. I tend to think that it does something to your blood and stimulates you. And I love jogging, not that I do it as often as I should, because it then also allows you to think and plan, and it just puts your thought, your frame of thoughts together. So you can find spending time with people. I know that's always tricky. Like she's saying, a lot of people don't find that gratification in being with their family. I know it's complex and everybody has their complexities, but at the same time, we need each other. So finding a support group. I think sometimes, in as much as Facebook can be toxic, it also offers... I found a lot of support groups when I was going through my motherhood journey, and you have like support groups for this and for that. And so join one and be like, hey, I'm struggling with this. Can we do this together? There's a lot of online communities which are healthy. It's about deciphering the ones that are not from the ones which are. And I think you can then find a community of people who get you. In terms of that thrill, I don't know. I think that's a bigger journey within, but in terms of finding a space that you feel safe, you feel supported, you feel like you can explain and they understand you, it's a healthier option than doing it alone, being addicted on your own. A support group, I think, is really, really important.
Yasmin, did you take those alternatives just to sit back and relax and detox from the whole social media platform without hanging out with your friends and taking pictures that you're with your friends?
I think I can.
Yeah?
I can try,
Okay. Evelyn, you're talking about alternatives as well. What do we do from here now? What are the alternatives?
Wow. I'm not sure I have very concrete alternatives for adults. I have for children.
Okay.
Because I'm in that space. And
adults are mature children. Yeah. Ideally.
Adults need more care and more, I mean,
True.
yeah. For me, what really speaks to me a lot is having to differentiate between positive screen time and negative screen time. First, as adults and as parents, we need to be able to know how to curate content. Just the way you're saying you can't quite control, you can't control what comes to your feed. So we need to be able to start educating our children on how to curate their content. Just understanding how I can pre-screen a movie, pre-screen a book, pre-screen a game before I consume that content, then to know if it is healthy for me or not. Those are things we need to start teaching them now so that they don't get to the place where we already consumed the content, then we're wondering what to do with it. So the preventative things is like pre-screen content. Then there are tools out there that you can use online to help with that. Common Sense Media, for instance, you just type up a cartoon, type up a movie, see what kind of content you're going to consume. That we need to start enabling our children with. Number two, I get to know how children get phones. So they will be handed down phones by their parents when they're upgrading, or they get new phones, or they share from their family members. Having phone contracts is something that parents need to start having, and those things are available online. When you're giving your child a gadget, put up a contract and tell them these are the guidelines. Should you break them, these are the consequences, so that when you're taking it away from them, they know why. We need to have also we need to have that kind of boundary. Setting up text-free zones, as I said, and then coming up with screen time rules. So for instance, if the kids are in school, when do we have TV? From Monday to Thursday, no TV. Friday, we will do 2 hours, because again, different children from different ages need to have different type of screen time. So we'll do cartoon. But then if your child really insists on having, for instance, 2 hours of entertainment, can they put in 2 hours of education? Because when we are saying we don't really have alternatives to do, we can do board games, but then can you have a Pinterest account where you can learn how to do your own things and enjoy as a family? That's an alternative. So we can use screen time for very many things, but then are we also using it to educate ourselves? Is the content we are consuming healthy or unhealthy?
I like that.
So we need to have, we need to start striking those balances. And I think for us, if people are watching their parents, and for us on this panel, we need to start knowing how to create time for family. So blocking family time, which should be very, very intentional.
Okay.
As a family, come up with a rule where everybody, if it's a movie time, dump your phones in a basket. 2 hours. It's okay to watch Finding Nemo for 2 hours with your kids, but you're connecting with them. You're not just hanging out. Because I think the issue we have right now is that we hang out a lot with our kids. I'm on my phone, they're there jumping on the trampoline.
But you consider that quality hangout
That's
time?
not quality. You need to connect. And even if it takes 10 minutes, that is okay. So just having certain things that you put, certain systems that you put in place that help you.
That help you.
Yeah.
Philip, before you come in, Janet, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying she's just said something that's, I think, triggered me because I thought my solution was done, because what happened is I invested in Legos. My son loves Legos and he loves building and pulling apart. But I think from what you've just said, I should be in there building with him. Yes. Because I'm usually like, you don't need screen time, there's Legos. And at least the good thing is now he gets it. He loves Legos and he loves building and asking like, how do you construct an aeroplane? But I know, I'm just saying you've triggered me to be like, now I should actually get there and do Legos with him. No, I wanted to say 2 very quick things, if it's okay. One is exactly what she's saying about, you know, spending time with family and with children. I think that's important. The other thing is using social media for good. I think for me, that's what takes me back there. So like you're saying, I choose who I follow. So a lot of people on my feed are, you know, Global Citizen, UNICEF, etc. So there are people who are constantly empowering individuals. And I think that's also a healthy way, because it shows you what you can do in the community, right? And so, for example, again, very quickly going into my plug for the petition, where he guys like, really? No. For example, I was like, which way can I communicate how I'm feeling or the message or how people can get involved? And that's why if you go online on my Instagram at official Janet Bogwa, there is this petition, and it's supposed to, like I said earlier, prioritize menstrual health issues. But that's one other healthy way of using social media. And I see it a lot, and it really, you know, it really inspires me to see people doing different ways. So another way is, even as a young person who's really into these apps or social media, find the ways in which you can connect to what's happening in the community, because there's always something going on. And so that's just what I wanted to say.
So Trevor, you've heard, get on her Instagram, like
and sign.
And sign, like and sign, engage. Philip, final thoughts on this?
I think as a society we need to actually get offline. just find some time.
I think we need to get offline.
Yes, we need to actually find what really connects us. As parents, we need to find out what are my kids' talents, what do they like, what are their passions. Because I think we are so much disconnected that we drive pleasure in pleasing other people and forget ourselves. So it's time we actually know that, okay, I need to get offline. Like for my sons, I know what they like. We actually play with them. We have game nights where I play Batman, he plays Spider-Man. So those are things we need to get. We actually need, or even start writing. I do journals where I actually write. I get offline and just write my thoughts, my fears, and everything. How many of us do that? How many of us just go for walks? How many of us just decide to go for movies instead of watching at home? At times, me and my wife actually go watch movies. So, like, what I really suggest as what are part of the solutions, like, as digital humanitarians, we've been to 107 schools countrywide. There's a big problem at Higa, where the teachers do not understand the digital space. Kids have phones in schools. Parents don't know their kids have phones. So, as parents, do you even know our kids? Do you even know their digital footprints? So it's time even schools now know the dangers of addiction and how it can be used. It's not bad. I've seen a lot of comedians actually using social media. A good example is here. But how do we nurture that talent? It's time we actually start creating our own positive content and doing social media for good. I get a lot of blood appeals online. But how many guys have actually gone to donate?
Oh yeah, what's the link between what people say online?
For good.
So we'll actually, it actually like, let's say I have a medical appeal, I'll get 1 million retweets. But how many actually go offline to actually go?
And they'll give you the money that you're looking for.
Yeah, so there's this false sense of, gratitude online, which is not offline. When you go offline, people are actually suffering a lot. So I think it's time we actually get to reality. And lastly, I have not watched TV news for like 1.5 years.
1.5 years.
I watch news on demand. Because it has so much triggers. You watch news, there's so much death, there's so much political. You just
so you
get
avoid
sick.
the triggers again.
So I avoid the triggers.
So you skip?
I just,
skip what you don't want to watch and
I watch news on demand after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to leave the discussion there because we ran out of time. Janet Mbugua Ndisho, media personality. You said Janet Mbugua only.
Now I can go with all the phone names. Janet Mbugua Wamoni Ndisho.
5 seconds.
5 seconds.
Just throw it in here. Yes. We are living in the 4th industrial revolution. The 5th is coming. So we are up to actually more battles because we have robotics and AI, machine learning.
It's going to get worse.
So it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
It's going to get worse.
When we're hanging out with robots as our friends, right?
Yes. So it's going to get worse.
Robot news anchors.
There we go.
Robot news anchors, like we're saying. Janet Mbugua, thank you for coming in. Philip Ogola, digital humanitarian. Evelyn Kasina, CEO, Ivminet, and Yasmin Said, comedian. Asante sana kuja. Let's read some of your feedback real quick and get through them. 22422 is the SMS line. Put them up right now so that we see. And we have Engineer Lazaro, who says smartphone addiction is really costing me a lot. I'm spending a lot of time chatting. To make matters worse, I'm addicted to pictures on social media.
Okay, Eva B from Kisumu. I've been driving across Western Kenya for the last 3 weeks. It is disturbing to have spotted the police on the road blocks concentrating so much on their phones. And for Lazaro, just to refer to what you've said, I think you should look for a counselor for that, since you acknowledge that that is an issue. Pornography addiction is a big deal. Please get some help for that. Trevor, carry on.
You don't leave a name, but you say the type of platform matters. Majority of Android users are more addicted compared to Mulika Mwizi and iOS users. I'm not sure that's right, but anyway.
Can somebody just invite me and my 2 friends and talk about the same conversation? I spend not so much time on my phone, and actually on the process of the Janet Mbugua way of balance. So you have a way of balance.
So there's even a way of that.
We call it Janet Mbugua
way. Fasting. Okay.
Yeah. All right, we have Isaac Njogu from Limuru says this topic is an issue that needs to be addressed. Just to break this down, the word chain stands for choice, habit, automatic identity, nature, and you can make a choice to always be in a social media. It will grow to be part of a habit. It still continues to say that then it will be automatic. It graduates to be your identity and finally your nature. Guys, the solution is people should choose the right chains. All right.
Very well we have put. A few more. Someone says, great discussion today. I guess it has to come to a point where the internet needs to be switched off by the providers on Sundays for people to even connect with their kids and spouses, all right? And you carry on, you say, I say this because it has come to a point that you can be speaking to your spouse in bed thinking they are sleeping, only to uncover someone who's browsing on their phone. Kids get injured as mothers are on their phones.
That is a big concern.
That's
Children
so
actually get injured when mothers are still on their phones.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the other one's also big.
The other one,
They're like,
no comment on that one. My phone, my life. I don't know what to do. Chatting is consuming a lot of my time. Engineer Lazaro.
And Redeemer, something like that. Great conversation from a security perspective. People have to be careful who they interact with, lest they are drawn into extremist groups, following exposure to extremist content. Plus, oversharing comes with security threats.
All right, we still have a lot of feedback coming in. Omeru W says, many times when I'm offline, many friends call me and ask why I'm offline. When I try to inquire what they want, they just tell me to go online. Addiction is hard to manage. They just want to see you online.
Trevor, before we take that break, you've seen the two messages from Engineer Lazaro. I think he's saying he feels like he has an issue. I don't know if you have any advice for him, Philip. How can he message you and just learn from you how you manage to?
You can reach out to me on Twitter at Philip Ogola, and then I'll guide you on how to actually get care and treatment.
Okay, and we didn't mention your handles as well.
Yeah.
Each of you can just briefly tell us your social media handles as we wind up.
Okay. On Twitter, it's at official J Mbogwa, but
Okay.
I mean Instagram as well is official Janet Mbogwa.
Yasmin, how can we catch your content?
Kashmir Roba on all social media. TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram.
What?
Yeah.
Evelyn, last.
Mine is Evelyn M. Casina on Twitter. I'm not on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, you're not on Instagram?
My company is on Instagram. I'm not on Instagram. I can't
Okay.
cope with that. Yeah.
Wahiga? No.
I'm on all platforms, and we need to take a break now.